as we can see. BBC losing audience, younger listeners to commercial talk radio. Oh, what a shame. The great British bastion of utter lies and deceit, and nobody wants to listen to them anymore because they're sick of it and they've had the fill of lies, deceit, propaganda, which is of course the BBC, the British Boy Buggering Corporation. The BBC's radio stations have seen weekly audiences fall while commercial and digital radio are enjoying a rise in popularity with listeners. The British public licence funded, you pay for it, broadcaster, home to several talk and music stations, has seen an overall fall in audience, with the number of people listening each week falling by 1.6% to 34.3 million listeners, reports The Times. Well, it would seem that even the young have had enough of the bullshit spouted out by the BBC. Oh, it's such a sad time. It's time we stopped funding the paedophile-run corporation then, isn't it? British couple who died on holiday in Egypt have organs missing. The daughter of a British couple who died during a holiday to Egypt has claimed her parents' bodies were sent home with organs missing. Well, it's absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. But it makes you wonder if they were killed for their organs. And yes, some will say, oh, they were just poisoned. No, there's more to it than that. Both of them dying at the same... No, there's more to it. Mark my words. Now, one of my favourite subjects, before I get onto that, let's just talk about what a fantastic day was yesterday. Nottingham Criminal Cartel were held up to the rack and shown to be absolutely frigging useless, run by paedophiles for paedophiles, and as it's shown, they don't give a shit. But the leader of Nottingham's Criminal Cartel, John Collins, is happy that he's still in his job. And the CEO of Nottingham Criminal Cartel, Ian Currier, who lives in Lady Bay in West Bridgford, is also happy that he's still got his job and still being paid an absolutely disgusting amount of money while there's men, women and children starving and on the streets. But them two pieces of shit carry on. They need to be in prison. They're a bunch of crooks. They're a mafia. They are a criminal cartel. While we're talking about criminal cartels, here we go. Man comes back from holiday to Disabled Bay, painted around his car and a £70 fine. Gary Walker had parked his car outside his sister's home with a legitimate parking permit before he flew off to Morocco with his family to celebrate his 65th birthday. But he was left outraged after council workers painted a white disabled parking bay around his car in the street, then gave him a £35 parking ticket by traffic wardens for parking there. Now let's just put this in perspective. It's only £35 if you pay up quickly, otherwise it's £70. So in other words, it's coercion. Pay now and we won't charge you more, which is absolutely corruption at its highest level, and Nottingham Criminal Cartel know all about that corruption because they are heavily, heavily involved in the corruption. Israel targets Gaza's children, say witnesses. Every Friday for the past few months, Nasser Musbah insisted that he accompanied his two older sisters to the Great March of Return. Both women are medics. Nasser used to carry their first aid bags. Nasser's mother, Samar, allowed him to go on the condition that he would stay at a tent east of Khan Yunis city, from where the medics worked. It was it was around 500 metres from Gaza's boundary with Israel, imposed boundary by the satanic Zionist scum. On 28th September, Nasir was at that tent when Islam, one of his sisters, called over to him asking for the first aid bag. Nasir did as requested, then ran back towards the tent. On his return, he suddenly fell to the ground. Nasir had been hit in the head with a bullet fired by an Israeli sniper. He was only 11. If this was any other country on the planet, Israel would be sanctioned and invaded. But because the Zionist-run pieces of shit actually control the planet, nothing happens. There's no outrage. There's no, well, this can't be allowed. There's no, what's going on? Why is it being allowed to happen? This should be stopped. Because the Zionists control the papers, control the news networks, control everything you read and see. That's why there's never any anti-Zionist stuff put out. When Zionism, every Zionist on this planet should be hunted down and locked up for the rest of their lives. Now you'll remember, you'll recall me talking about Michelle Obama. Oh no, do I mean Michael? Look at this. The only suspicious package the media won't talk about. Michael's dick. Red October. Amazon, Google and Snap are plunging and taking global stocks down with them. The financial crash is here. Stocks finished up in US markets on Thursday night, but the joy looks as if maybe short-lived. Tech stocks were way down in pre-market trading Friday, with the Nasdaq set to open more than 3% lower. So these, strangely enough, the Zionist-controlled stock markets are plunging because they're about to plunge us into another financial crisis. Of course, there is no financial crisis. It's just that the fake money, many are starting to realise how fake it is. It's manufactured out of nothing. All they do is print it. There you go. And it's called currency. And the British pound, which is worthless, just like the US dollar, the French euro, or used to be the franc, when they were much better then, the Spanish lira, oh no, it's the euro as well, and everywhere is about to go kaboom. Now, what this hopefully will do, will have the whole population of the world going, well, it was only 10 years ago we had a financial crash. Are we run by a complete, inept, useless crap bunch of twats? And the answer, of course, is yes. And what's more, they're corrupt. British judges get biggest pay rise in nearly a decade after ministers agreed to 3,600 hike to their 181,000 salaries, and they could get even more. Hike will mean High Court judges could get as much as £60,000 extra. Hey, you lot out there, are you even on £60,000 a year? No? Well, these bastards are getting a £60,000 rise. But then again, all that is because they're being bribed to continue the dictatorship that they are trying to push upon us. But thankfully, many of you are starting to realise that. And so you should. But you've got to start talking to others and explain to them what's going on. We live in a frigging dictatorship where if you're a bunch of crooked, bent, corrupt bastards, you get a £60,000 a year pay rise. Where if you're just a normal worker who's a good guy, you get nothing. That will result in their salaries shooting up to £250,000 a year. 32% increase. But don't forget, because of austerity, we're all in it together. Oh, except the judges, the politicians, the councillors, who are all paedophiles. Because if you're a paedophile, you get promoted, you get pay rises, you get to rape more children. But if you're a normal man on the street, you get sanctioned, you get pay cuts. Have you had enough of the corruption on this planet? Government could be set to offer more in a special review of judicial pay. Judges were handed their biggest pay rise for nearly a decade yesterday, with the prospect of much more to come. Ministers approved and ministers. We need rid of them bastards. Approved an immediate, not by the end of the year, the end of the financial year. No, an immediate increase of 2%, backdated to April. Backdated? When do we ever get a pay rise? Backdated. But if you're a frigging corrupt judge, oh, it's backdated. Enough to add 3,631 to their 181,566 salary of a High Court judge. And Lord Chancellor David Gauke promised to give careful consideration to major increases up to 60% recommended by a special review of judicial pay. You should be frigging outraged at this. The bumper rise revealed by the Daily Mail earlier this month would mean 32% of the pay of a High Court judge, taking his or her salary up to £60,000 to £240,000, £250,000 a year. But don't forget, we're all in it together. Blues and twos. Drivers could be fined up to £1,000 for giving way to a police car during an emergency if they don't do it in the correct way. Can you not see this is a frigging dictatorship? Every motorist knows emergency vehicles have right of way when flashing their lights, but drivers can be penalised for traffic offences even while giving way. Drivers who move out of the way for a police car with flashing lights could be slapped with a fine, while motorists are instructed to give way to emergency vehicles. If you move into a bus lane or go through a red light, you can still be penalised. Simple. Stop moving out the way for these frigging emergency vehicles, and then you can't be penalised. Oh yeah, someone might die, but you can't be penalised. This dictatorship should be destroyed immediately. The royals need to be in prison. They're a bunch of paedophiles. Parliament is full of paedophiles. And of course, who controls the law? Oh, the judges, who've just been bribed. Well, you couldn't live in a more corrupt country if you tried, could you? Speaking of corrupt, utter scum. Oh yeah. It's the scum. Shane Boss exclusive. Psy, the paedophile, wants Tycoon out of his music company. Oh, he's also a Freemason as well. Cal, I've had my fill of green. Oh, really? Really? But you shared the same kids as you were raping them, didn't you? Yeah, you did, didn't you? Dies night with Joe. Strictly is in one or other paper every single day. If you've not had enough of it, then you're crazy. And if you have had enough of it, stop buying these rags that are full of shit and fun paedophiles. Team Posh v Team Bex. Showbiz exclusive. Whoopie friggin' do. We've got nothing else to put in the papers, so we'll just make some shit up and put that in. Oh, mind you, that's what we do every day anyway. Mirror. Frills and thrills. Sir Philip on the town in Vegas with a young woman that is obviously extremely attracted to him, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that he's a billionaire, that he's made that money out of corruption and destroying other people's lives. But don't worry about it. Good news at Double. Victory. Tories in 1.5 billion boost for High Street after Mirrors 5. So I've got a question for you here. How is 1.5 billion going to help boost the high street? Just you know, tell me. Tell me in the comments. Explain to me how 1.5 billion, which won't go to anyone or anything that helps anything, is going to help. Max's law on organs opt-out gets 18 million to promote it. Well, this is my official statement to that. I'm not giving any of my organs to anyone ever, and if they are taken, that will be theft. But then again, the government do it all the time. It's called corrupt income tax, of which there is no law that says you, a man or woman, has to pay any tax. But unfortunately, the scam is so big that when you go and sign a contract to work for some company, you sign as the person, and that's why you end up paying tax. If you signed as the flesh and blood living man, they can't take any tax off you. Of course, your companies are all in with it. They know what the crack is, and they won't allow that, because we live in such a corrupt country that when you're corrupt, you get promoted. You get pay rises of £60,000 a year. But if you're just a normal, free living man, woman, whatever, you get your wages docked in the form of tax. Unlawful tax at that. The tell-lie graph. Women's champion Brandy drawn into Green scandal. Baroness faces questions over Me Too claims at tycoons' companies she cheered. Oh, so she's involved, and she's trying to distance herself now. Because of course, if you're a sir or a baroness, you're a corrupt, thieving bastard. Knighthood under review, says Number 10, as reports emerge of seven-figure staff payouts. Former pensions minister claims she was bullied during BHS investigation. She doesn't look like she's being bullied with that big smile on her face, smiling because I suspect that she's a paedophile as well. And they're laughing because they're thinking, oh, remember those kids we raped yesterday? Oh, it was so funny, wasn't it? You had enough of this shit? Or are you going to continue on the voters register? I give consent for the government to murder innocent men, women and children, not only abroad, but in this country by sanctioning them and starving them to death. Get off the voters register. Express, right up the shitter. Craig Revel Horwood, I thought the strict rule's so bad it would be axed. It should be axed. It's a frigging TV show and it's in papers for every single day. Jeez, if you buy this shit, maybe you've got a mental retard problem. £1.5 billion budget boost for High Street. What, are they going to pave the streets in gold? No, it's just a lie perpetrated by a bunch of lying, bullying, bastard politicians that we need to get rid of. Geez, when is it going to be over? Well, maybe this financial crash will wake a few more up, or make them more rise up at the corruption in this country. The United Kingdom, which is anything but united, is the most corrupt on the planet. Millions to share pension windfall. You lying bastard paper. Will Michelle rise to Bake Off challenge? Oh, so we've got TV, lies and lies. And you're still buying the papers? Maybe some of you should be medicated with pharmaceutical poisons. Or better still, how about this? You go and get some cannabis. If you smoke, smoke it. If you can get the oil, take it. It will chill you out and make you realise that this is nothing but absolute corruption to the very core. Star. Celebrity Bake Off takes off. Oh, free Cadbury Twill. We're giving away a free Twill because of our 185 million profit we made. We're paying no tax. But you, on your £300, £200, £400, whatever, you're paying tax. So we're bribing you with a Twill. You couldn't make it up. Don't call us snowflakes or we'll cry. I've got to say the Star has got to be the most shittest paper on this planet. It's just shit. And they have to try and bribe you with a flake to say you buy it. But of course the cost of the paper is equivalent to the cost of the flake. So, and they know that 90% won't go for the flake anyway, so they're actually making money hand over fist. By anyone dumb enough with such a low IQ, they buy any of this shit. Speaking of shit, anything but independent. A reporter's role amid the fog of war. How ironic to name Green in Parliament. Why is that ironic? Oh, it's I can see no one I can. Religion's political side makes me weary. Shappy Kasandi. You know what, Shappy? I don't give a shit about what you write, and I'd never buy anything that you wrote anyway. I don't buy papers because why would I? Saudis disappearing in nothing is nothing new. In other words, they bump people off all the time. Yeah. Those that try and put out what's really going on, well, just bump him off. Game over. The grandmothers who have vowed to tackle fracking with fruitcake and fury. Now again here, this fracking is nothing to do with gas. Absolutely nothing to do with gas. This is an attempt to poison the water table. And the government know about it. So, how could we solve it? Oh, I know. Get rid of Parliament, get rid of the Royals, get rid of the bent judges, get rid of the bent councils, get rid of the bent courts. I'm sure there's more I could add to that as well. But we'll do with that for the time being. Because, as you know, as well as I do, this country is the most corrupt country on this planet. Be that flat, round, square, cubed, whatever. This is the most corrupt country on the planet. Yes, more corrupt than China. More corrupt than Saudi Arabia. At least they put it in your face what they're doing. They are a bunch of corrupt criminals. They do it behind your back and pretend it's for your benefit. Yeah, we're robbing you further for your benefit. Yeah, we're increasing tax for your benefit. Well, by the way, we're giving 7 billion over to such and such a country for your benefit. Meanwhile, NHS cancellations of children's surgery up 58%. Austerity blamed for huge increase under the Conservatives. Oh, but wait, didn't Theresa May say we'll end austerity? So, if they could end austerity by simply saying we'll end austerity, why was it ever introduced in the first place? I'll tell you why. I'll explain to you. Because they want a poor, beaten down men, women of this country, because you're easier to control if you're poor and battered. You'll be too busy trying to put food on your table rather than worrying what corruption's going on in Parliament. The Times. The UK's most beautiful trees. All trees are beautiful. Top lawyers attack Hayne. Peer who named Green accused of shameless assault on rule of law. Oh, so now they're coming. You see, they're scared. They realise that this could happen to some others. So now they're going, oh, no, we've got to stop that. There will be exposed as a bunch of paedophilic, corrupt, stealing, thieving bastards. How to be good in restaurants. It's not what you think. Very nice, thank you. Oh, by the way, as Seth says, when you say thank you, it actually, on the higher realm, means I love you. So, thank you for watching. Team Muller, how I raised my daughter. Goodbye, boys. The brawler has arrived. And the two lesbians that's got a kid, or I don't know if she was artificially inseminated or whatever, but, you know. Of course, they're MPs. So that's front news headlines then, isn't it? Daily fail. The top TV cooks best recipes ever. Evil, satanic, Luciferian paedophile known as Charles. I wanted to get out of my wedding to Diana. Bombshell book rewrites Charles and Di history. Because she wasn't a satanic paedophile, so he wanted to get out of it and marry her. Oh wait, he did! He got out of it by having her murdered and then married his satanic Luciferian paedophile, Camilla the Camel. Minister, Green bullied me too. Should that be hashtag me too? Who knows? Aye. Save the High Street Chancellor to slash shop rates. Hammond to unveil 1.5 billion fund to save retailers in Monday's budget. Intervention comes to as Debenhams announces plans to close 50 stores. So are they going to lower the rates they charge, which are absolutely extortion? One of the videos I put out last year, I think it was now, where I walked up and down King and Queen Street in Nottingham city centre, you know, and the amount of rates they paid usually was around £60,000 a year, which is way over £1,000 a week to a corrupt mafia criminal cartel known as Nottingham Criminal Cartel. Oh, we're going to have less rates. Oh no, I'm going to have to increase my wages, said the leader of Nottingham Criminal Cartel, John Collins, and the CEO of Nottingham Criminal Mafia Cartel, Ian Currier. Because think of it like this, you know where you work, can you just say, I'll increase my wages by £10,000? No? Ooh. Well, you're in the wrong business then, because if you run a mafia, you can increase your wages by whatever you decide, even though you don't actually need them, because everything you do is covered on expenses. You can cover everything on expenses, can't you? You know, when you have a dinner at dinner time, you can claim that back on expenses, can't you? No? Ooh. Seems like something's not quite fair there then, doesn't it? Maybe something's a little bit totally corrupt. Philip Green under fire. MPs call for Tycoon to lose his knighthood. Oh, you mean this star I've got? I'm going to lose it? Oh, that's going to hurt me so much. That's all it is. It's like when you're at school and you do something right, you get a gold star. A knighthood is just a gold star. A way of bribing you. Oh, you're taking me gold star. Oh, I don't know how I'll survive. Maybe I'll just go on holiday instead because I'm a billionaire. US bomb suspect arrested. Bullshit. I'm still in shock after Booker win. The Guardian. The return of Posey Simmons. buy the new GCHQ puzzle book for half price. So they're promoting the bunch of criminals that spy on us all the time. They spy on your phone, they spy on your internet, and they're promoting it. The Guardian, the bastion of utter deception. Exclusive. Insider tells of culture of silence at top of company over tycoons' behaviour towards women. Green paid seven-figure sums to silence abuse allegations. Well, there you go, Nottingham criminal cartel. Maybe if you paid seven-figure sums to all the children that you raped, they might not have spoke up. But I'm glad you didn't, and I'm glad they're speaking up, and I'm glad it's becoming obvious that Nottingham criminal cartel is a paedophile-run, leader John Collins, CEO Ian Currier, paedophile-run council, and it needs to be done away with, unless you like your children being raped by them. FT. Recycling is broken. Can we fix it? Let me think. Is it going to cost us? Of course it is! Because when anything needs fixing, who pays? We do. Tech gloom drags down Wall Street. Yes, the financial crash is finally engineered here. Abe Tripp pulls China ties out of deep freeze. Florida man arrested over mail bomb targeting high-ranking US Democrats. Or that should actually read, targeting satanic Luciferian paedophiles like Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Obama, the Bushes, definitely, the head of CNN, oh absolutely.
Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.